Hello everybody. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I'm Tamara. I've got another restock for you guys today. This is just a few things that I was able to get restocked for this previous week. I restocked my pantry, I restocked my freezer, as well as my cantry, and I also made a few baked goods to get us through the week. Let's go ahead and jump right on into it. I'm going to go ahead and get started on some buns. This is my favorite recipe that I use. I'll make sure to have it linked down below. I use this recipe for any kind of buns that I need. Hamburger buns, hot dog buns, hoagie buns, anything. This is a go-to. And don't forget, you don't have to have a bread machine to make any bread machine recipes. You can easily do it with a stand mixer or by hand. Now it's time to go ahead and get these shaped. I'm doing these as hamburger buns this time, so I'll just get it divided up and shaped out. And then you want to let it, once you get it shaped, put it on whatever pan you're going to get it baked on, and then cover it with a towel. You'll do like 30 to 40 minute your final rise, and then you'll get it baked in the oven. I'm just going to get it covered with a towel, that way no air gets on it and it doesn't leave a crust on your dough before you get it shaped. So I'm just going to take and pinch all the edges in, and then as you see I kind of like cup it in my hand, and then I move it around with my fingers and kind of seal off that bottom. And then whenever I'm doing it for hamburger buns, I want them a little flatter, that way they're not, tall like a roll. So I'll take and kind of press them out a little bit around, and then we'll just put them on my baking stone, get them covered, and let them do that final rise. As I'm transferring them over to the pan that I'm going to be baking them on, you can see I'm using my fingers and kind of just pressing around, and I'm just transferring them over. This is going to help them not puff up super tall, and you'll have more of an even bun, in my opinion. Now I'm just going to cover it, let it do that final rise, and then I just bake it in a 350-degree oven until they are done. Internal temperature will be anywhere from like 190 to 200 for good freshly baked bread. So always just check it with a thermometer. I have people ask all the time like timings and everything, and it really just depends on how thick or thin your bread is, whatever you're baking. And so I really recommend getting a thermometer and using it. It has been a true lifesaver when it comes to baking breads. It is time to restock my shelf-stable cooked sausage. I love doing this. This is one of my favorite things, having a quick protein on your shelf. And surprisingly, we don't eat a lot of sausage. It's just not our favorite. But I like having this because we do like having, sausage gravy for breakfast. And it really just makes my life so much easier just to grab one of these off the shelf, throw in some of my gravy mix, and have a quick sausage gravy for breakfast. And I don't know, it is just so good. So this is how I can up my sausage. Really easy. Of course, there's several different ways you can do it. This is how I choose to do it, and I really like it. So I've got 4 pounds of just regular sausage there, and I'm just going to par cook this a little bit and just kind of break it up, and then we will get it added into our jars. Here is what the buns look like. I will just let them completely cool, and then I just store them in an airtight container. They last a few days, if they actually last a few days, because we normally go through them. And then if there is any left over, I do like to cut them before I freeze them. I just feel like it makes it easier. And then whenever you go to pull them out, I recommend toasting them, either with some butter on a skillet or, in a toaster. I feel like it just really brings it to life, and they taste just like fresh. Now that my sausage has par cooked, I'm going to go ahead and get it added into my jars. I ended up dividing it evenly into these 6 jars, and it was 4 pounds total. I am just going to cover it with water. I don't add any seasonings or anything. I just, do it as is. And then I will top it off with some water. Of course, debubble, check headspace, wipe the rims with vinegar, put the rings on, all those good things, and I'll just get these processed in my Carry electric canner. Don't forget that I am an affiliate through 4 Jars. I absolutely love their products. I'm still at 100% seal rate with their lids. I love saying that in every single video. Y'all know that is a huge deal. When you take the time to put up food for your family, it is really important using good quality products. And 4 Jars, absolutely love them. If you use my code everyday10, it can save you some extra money off, so don't forget to do that at checkout. And I'm just so ready for canning season, y'all. Right now is the perfect time to start stocking up on your canning essentials, because canning season will be here before we know it. It is now the next day. As you can see, all the sausage is done. I just need to get these washed, labeled, and put on my shelf. Now I'm going to make some more cookies. I'm going to bake some for us to have through the week, and then I'm also going to take and flash freeze the rest. That way we have them for later. Y'all know I love doing that. Having some quick and easy in the freezer. I can just pop them out and have freshly baked cookies whenever we need them. Now I am going to go ahead and say that this recipe that I tried today was a new to me recipe, and it was not my favorite. Now, if you prefer a crunchy peanut butter style cookie, then this definitely would be probably your favorite, but I prefer a soft peanut butter cookie. So these were good. That's why I'm going ahead and sharing them. This wasn't like, a recipe fail or anything. It's just not, I don't prefer crunchy peanut butter cookies. That's just me. So I am going to keep finding my favorite soft peanut butter cookie. But if you like crunchy peanut butter cookies, definitely check out this recipe. I will have it linked down below. But I'm just going to whip these up. I'm going to bake some, and then I will just flash freeze the rest. I ended up baking us 2 trays of cookies, and then the rest of that dough I just scooped out as normal, but I put it on a lined sheet. Actually, this is a cafeteria tray. I do get a ton of comments on these. These gray trays, I got them off Amazon. They came in a pack, and y'all, I use these things for everything. And if you watch my channel, you know that. Like, even like Winston will use these for crafts. They literally are a game changer in the kitchen or just to have in your house in general. I do have them saved in my Amazon storefront. That link is always in the description box. But they're just cafeteria trays, and they seriously make my life so much easier. So I just have one of those, and I'm just going to scoop the rest of that dough out on this pan, and then I just cover it with Saran Wrap, and then I just put it in the freezer. These did end up staying in the freezer overnight, and then when I went and pulled them out, I just put them in either a container or a baggie, and I just put them right back in the freezer, and then I can just pull out, you know, however many cookies we want at a time, and then just bake them. I have had questions about the, like, do I bake them from frozen or do I thaw them out? And I just pull them out, however many I need from frozen, put them on a cookie sheet, I preheat my oven, and then I just put them in there. They do take like a couple minutes longer, but they are still delicious and turn out great every single time. After I made my cookies, I was completely out of brown sugar, so I needed to restock that in my pantry. Homemade brown sugar is just 2 ingredients, which is regular sugar and then just some molasses. And then depending on how much molasses you want to add will depend on if it is a light brown sugar or a dark brown sugar. That is totally up to you. I'll have a reference down below on like how much sugar to molasses that you want to use. But for me, this is just kind of an eyeball thing, you know, just to be able to look at it and get the color or consistency that I'm looking for. I'm going to make enough just to restock my container, but this is it. It's so simple, and I always keep these ingredients on hand to be able to make this quick and easy. Here's what mine looks like when it's done. I'm just going to get it added into my brown sugar container and get it put back in my cabinet. Last thing I wanted to get done was dehydrate the majority of this garlic. I got this big bag at Sam's Club, and I actually had several people ask what I was going to do with this, how I was going to preserve it to keep it good. And I had a plan of dehydrating most of it, and then some of it I wanted to, you know, just to have for recipes. And then I also want to make more of that fermented honey garlic, because I literally swear by that stuff now. Love it. So I'm going to be making some more of that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll have a reference link down below for you guys. But I'm just going to get the majority of this garlic loaded up on these trays and get it put in my dehydrator. This is another one of these things that you want to make sure to dehydrate outside, because it will just fume you out of the house. This was actually right on the front porch, and we could still smell it inside the house. Luke was like, oh my gosh, that garlic is so strong. I had somebody come knock on the door, like, you know, just some salesperson, and they're like, what are you doing in there? They didn't even see the dehydrator on the front porch. They were like, what are you doing in there? It smells like an Italian restaurant. But I started slicing the garlic. That quickly ended because that took forever. And I just got my chopper out, threw a bunch of cloves in it, and I just filled the remainder of my trays with the minced garlic. So, I can use this in just recipes. I can also chop this up, grind this up and make my own garlic powder. So, I wanted just to have this on my shelf. Y'all know that there's certain things I prefer just to dehydrate or preserve to have on my shelf versus just to have it in my freezer. I don't know, I just like, certain things on my shelf versus in my freezer. That's just me. So I wanted to, get a bunch of this put up. That way I can have it on my shelf for whenever. I ended up using quite a bit of that garlic. As you can see, that's what's left. So here is my trays. And I thought I got a video clip of it outside, but the only clip I got was what I had put on Instagram. So I apologize. I just dehydrated this 131. It took about 13-14 hours. It's just going to depend on the thickness of your garlic, so it could go shorter, it could go longer. You just want to make sure that it's dehydrated fully, that way it doesn't grow any mold or anything. So I'm just going to take and put it into my jars, and then y'all know I like to condition it on the counter. Anytime you dehydrate anything, you want to, whenever you put it in your jars, leave a little bit of extra headspace on it. Put a lid and a ring on it, and you're going to sit it on your counter for 5 to 7 days. Every single day, you will take and turn the jar upside down or, right side up, and you're just going to look for any kind of moisture or anything. And within those days, if you see any kind of moisture in those jars, pop them back in the dehydrator to save it. If it goes too long and it starts molding because of the moisture in the jars, you've just ruined it all. So that's why you want to take the time to condition your jars on the counter. That way you can keep an eye on it to know, if there's any moisture, you can save it before it goes bad. So I'm just going to get all of this loaded up and then let it condition on the counter for several days. But this is it, you guys. Happy to get all this stuff put up, on my shelf, and just some of our weekly stock. So I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.